And here we are for the second Artwork Winona. Thanks so much for joining us. We have a really busy month of incredible events coming up. But first I want to give you the rundown of who we've got. We've got Tree Dome Productions, Tyler Steinley and Ryan Amble. But first, Parker Forsell from the Midwest Music Fest, the executive director. Then the Tree Dome guys, and following that will be Aaron Young from the Great River Shakespeare Festival. And our last guest is Nicole Chamberlain-Dupree, the executive director of the Minnesota Marine Art Museum. First up, I wanted to tell you about the Winona Arts events that are coming up in March. Tree Dome will talk a little bit about their concert that they're having as part of the Cabin Fever Festival. That's March 2nd and March 3rd. But remember, on March 3rd, there's an entire game day, a family game day. We're going to have a Settlers of Catan tournament. So you can get your Settlers of Catan fix and show the world who's the best at settling Catan. Downstairs, while that's going on, we will have children's game days and activities, so you can drop your kids downstairs, let them have fun while you come upstairs and play some board games. That'll be from 12 to 4 in Holtzinger's Lounge on March 3rd. That evening, Tony Opelt is going to be leading a trivia challenge. So if you've got a trivia team that wants to sign up, make sure you email me and sign up to be one of the trivia teams playing for prizes that night. Ground Round and Blooming Grounds will be helping out with the food and the beverages, and that's at Holtzinger's Lodge, the Cabin Fever Festival, and that is March 2nd and 3rd. And then another Winona Arts event, part of the Arts in the Hall series, there'll be a reading of a brand new play, and that play is called My Husband, Jim Younger. And it was written by two Star Tribune journalists who have since retired, and they took to writing a play because of the research they did writing an article about a journalist from back in the past. And that journalist, who happens to be a woman at a time when there weren't women writers, or very many of them, falls in love with, get this, one of the Jesse James gang, James Younger. So it has a Northfield and a Minnesota tie-in. She was a member of a very well-to-do family in St. Paul, and it's a play about their budding romance, a very well-to-do woman trying to strike out in the world and make a name for herself, and she falls in love with a convicted bank robber. It's a really interesting play, and that will be at the Masonic Theater, and that is going to be on March 24th at 7 p.m. So 2 Winona Arts events happening in the month of March. Thanks a lot, and we'll be back right after a word.
Join us for a new episode of Explore the Outdoors with HBC. In this episode, we head indoors to be like the Olympians and try out curling. Then we hit the fields and go hunting for sheds. Don't miss out on this episode when it airs Sunday through Tuesday at 5 p.m. only on HBC TV 25. Explore the Outdoors is brought to you by the Centerville Curling Club.
As a volunteer, I'm able to help the fair continue the tradition of a family-friendly event that provides youth development and activities through the 4-H program. Not only do we work here, we live here, and helping build our community is important to us because HBC is people in your community.
And we're back, and our first guest this month is Parker Forsell. Did I say that right, Parker?
That's right.
Yeah. And Parker is the director of the Midwest Music Fest, one of the most popular music fests in the whole region. Parker, tell us a little something about the festival first, and then we'll talk about your events that are coming up.
Yeah, well, for people that don't know, it's a multi-stage fest, and so we'll have across the 2 cities of La Crosse and Winona about 15 stages going, and it's spread out over 4 days, and 130 acts will be playing on those stages. So in Winona, we have everything from Island City Brewing to a big tent where Steamboat Days does their stuff, to the Masonic, to Ed's, Eagles Club.
So basically on every corner practically of Winona, there'll be somebody playing.
And we're focused on the downtown, all in the downtown basically.
Very
so it's
cool.
all walkable.
And we're partnering with La Crosse, right, for the second year?
That's right. This will be the 3rd year actually.
Third year?
We've done it in La Crosse, similar in the downtown. You get a wristband and you can walk around all the different venues in the downtown where the music's playing.
And tell us a little something. So you buy a wristband for both venues?
You can get a 4-day pass to go to all of it, or you can get a 2-day pass to just go to 2 days of it. Or once it gets closer to the fest, we actually do sell a single-day wristband. If you just want to, check it out, you don't know much about it, you just want to see what's going on, you can try 1 day.
Cool. So you'll be coming back in April to talk about that,
I will
right?
talk a little bit more about artists.
Let's
and
talk
things.
about the 2 things that are happening in March. So there's a beer tasting or a craft beer tasting.
So
that's
yeah,
happening?
this will be the 3rd year we've done it. It's been really popular. It's a craft beer tasting.
Oh, no one likes craft beer.
I know nobody likes beer in
no,
Wisconsin
yeah,
or
no,
Minnesota. But yeah, we'll have about 20 breweries there, and you can sample, and 2 cideries, and you can sample the cider or the beer. And then we also have a silent auction that has a lot of different things, but we try to focus some on music. So quite a few different bigger fests, the Blue Ox Fest, Rock the Garden up in Minneapolis.
So you can win tickets
You can
to
win
these?
tickets to those
Wow.
by bidding on them as part of the silent auction.
And so you pay one price and you get in and you can taste as many of the brews
Right,
as
so
possible?
it's $20 ahead of time, $25 at the door, and then we also will have food available and some hors d'oeuvres there.
Okay, cool. So where is that going to be?
That's at the Winona History Center.
And what night?
Starts at 7 o'clock on March 3rd, Saturday, March 3rd.
So that's sandwiched in between some other things that we're going to be talking about for Winona Arts. So that day, there'll be a lot of things to
Busy,
be doing.
fun weekend.
Really cool. So what's the second event that's
The
coming
second thing we're doing is actually up in La Crosse, and we're bringing this guy, Todd Snyder, from Nashville to town, and he is basically a legend. I mean, he's on John Prine's record label, and his mentors and friends include Chris Christopherson, Jimmy Buffett, John Prine, and they're all big fans of his. So he came 3 years ago and sold out the Cavalier before it ever got to show day. So we're thinking he'll probably sell out again this year. And excited to see Todd Snyder.
Really cool. And there's a third event that's coming up that you can't talk about yet.
We got another event that's
But
going to squeak in at the end of
Just
end
at
of
the
March.
tail end of March, there might be a new concert, and you're working with a new organization, right?
Yeah, there's
in
a
town?
new nonprofit in town, Hurryback Productions, that's doing some music. They hosted Martin Zeller, and they've done a lot of work at the St. Cecilia Theater, which is connected to Cotter. It's a beautiful, almost like an opera house, you feel, in there. And so we're going to try to work with them to do a couple shows here leading up to the fest.
Well, we'll try to have you on for the April show, and maybe you can sneak in the information on that late March one,
Yeah,
too.
if it's the
we
third
can.
week, we will be able to talk
Okay,
about
is there
it.
anything else about the festival that we should know?
I know one of the bands that was really popular last year is the Blackfoot Gypsies, and they played the tent, and people just loved them, and so we're bringing them back from Nashville this year. So that should be a great show.
And one of the things that I love about the festival is it's really the best of the local bands, right, in the region, and then you go way outside too.
Right. So yeah, we got the best of the local, and then we'll have Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Chicago bands playing in the fest, and then we always sprinkle in a few folks from Nashville. We've got a band that's connected to the Grateful Dead, actually, that's coming from San Francisco this year, and another band from upstate New York that's coming.
And who would think in sleepy little Winona, right?
Yeah,
We'd
it's
have
gonna
this
be
really
fun.
cool festival. And you can hear all of these bands, you know, you can have Mike Munson or Sleeping Jesus or some of the best local bands right next to some of the people that are playing with the Grateful Dead. Really
And
cool.
we actually do have a Spotify playlist if you go to our website that has excerpts of all the bands that are on Spotify if you just want to check out what kind of music is playing. And tickets to any of these events you can find through MidwestMusicFest.org or Eventbrite ticketing, which is online as well. You can search any of these shows and they'll show up on there.
That's great. All right, we'll have you back next month.
Sounds
Good talking with you, Parker.
Thanks, Lee.
At Midtown Foods, we know it's not just about getting groceries. It's about friendly faces, fresh produce, quality cuts of meat, and experienced employees. We know because we shop here too. Midtown Foods, Winona's largest locally owned grocery store, downtown Winona.
I enjoy volunteering because I love the sport of wrestling. Youth programs like the Booster Club provide valuable skill sets that will benefit all kids that participate. Not only do we work here, we live here, and helping build our community is important to us because HBC is people in your community.
Hey, I'm so excited to talk with the next two guests that I have here. As you know, Artwork Winona is all about celebrating the unique art scene here in Winona and all the exciting things that are happening. And Tree Dome Productions epitomizes everything that we want out of Winona, which is take some of the folks that are coming out of the universities and the young energy in town and see if we can turn that through the lens of entrepreneurship into a new company. So I've got Tyler Steinley and Ryan Amble, two of Tree Dome's powerhouses. Tyler is the booking director and the artist manager, and Ryan is a DJ and associate artist with Tree Dome. Tell us a little bit about the birth of Tree Dome. I feel so honored because I was actually around when it was just an idea. So.
Well, I mean, it started in 2016, and it started just as our president, Blake Mullen, and then our artistic director, Nathaniel Nelson, just being like, hey, we want to make music videos. And it started with an Inflatus music video, and then they put it under the Tree Dome logo. And then from there, it just kept growing. I joined shortly after because I just sent Blake a message saying...
So you're a full-service production outfit, right? You do everything from booking the talent to doing the posters, to shooting the video, and to recording. Yeah, you do almost everything. It's like, it's one-stop shop for an artist, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just music, right? You have spoken word and poetry too, right?
Yep, especially at our monthly showcases for Art's Sake at Ed's No Name in town. We have a spoken word artist or two sometimes that come.
I mean, you're covering the gamut. It's so cool. Tell us a little bit about the name itself. What is Tree Dome? What's that all about?
It's just what Blake came up with.
Oh, no, I heard a really good story. Let me clue you in case you don't know. That planting seeds, watching it grow, and then once it grows and it spreads out, taking the entire dome or cradling of the artist. So it's both the sense of growth, but also the covering the artist and protecting the artist and giving them something to... That's what I heard the name was all about.
Is that what Mike explained?
Yeah.
Mike does a good job of explaining it.
And who is Mike, just so that
Michael Pelly, he is, I think, also artist management? Or no, PR. He's PR, and he's also a Tree Dome artist.
Right, he's a spoken word poet, right?
Yeah, he's a hip-hop
artist?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So tell us a little bit about some of the events. The first one coming up is a concert, right, that you're doing as part of Winona Arts?
Yeah, we're partnering with Winona Arts to do an event called Cabin Fever, which is on March 2nd. And the first night is going to be a concert featuring Allie and the Scoundrels, some alumni of St. Mary's University, and Ruben. From 7 to 10, it's free, it's all ages, it's a family environment, so it's going to be pretty rad.
Great, great. And we've got Ground Round that's going to be selling some beer there, so there'll be some food and some beer to be had. And Allie and the Scoundrels, what type of music is it? Sort of pop rock?
Yeah, it's very bluesy. She actually, well, she is Allie, the front woman, and then she has, I want to say, a 7-piece, maybe more, behind her, featuring a horn section. So it really... It's a powerhouse.
How cool, cool. And if we can, we'll try to throw a little clip of her sound in along the way so people can hear. And then tell us about Ruben. They're out of Stillwater? Or no, is Allie?
Mankato.
Okay, Allie's out of Stillwater then,
Currently,
right?
yep.
Yeah, okay.
And they're just good old rock and roll. They're friends of mine, and I've seen them play before, and they always bring down the house, so I thought that would be a good fit, especially for the cabin aesthetic you're kind of going for.
Yeah, so we'll talk a little bit more about the Cabin Fever Festival when I do a segment on Winona Arts, but you've got some other things happening, because Tree Dome never sleeps, right? So
Nope.
Tell me some of the other events.
On March 16th, we're actually opening up our new studio for the first time for a live session featuring Ivory James and Clams, two of my favorite sort of local acts. They're from the Midwest. And that's going to be a limited ticket thing, but it's going to be free, and we're actually filming it to promote the artists and make really cool live
Wait, so you have a
sessions with it.
studio in town?
We
Where
do.
is your studio?
It's 2 doors down from the Midwest Music Store on 3rd Street.
Where Okooch used to be.
Okay, and it just says Tree Dome now, the
Yep,
studio?
we're getting to sign up soon. We just
Oh,
have one
cool.
little one in the window right now, but we're getting there.
But you're going to open it with a concert in the studio.
Yep, our grand opening will be later, but this will be kind of a sneak peek and be like, hey, come in and see what we're doing. And also
So
see
how
some
does someone
awesome
get on the
music.
list?
We'll be making an event and a link soon.
Okay, so you can check the Facebook page
Yep,
and
like Tree Dome on Facebook, and then you'll get all the new events.
very cool. And what other event do you have?
I got one
where he
actually
comes
at the end of March. I'm doing a DJ event under my DJ name Ramble, and then there's a hip hop group called After Hours based out of La Crosse, and we're doing a 2-night kind of event. The first night, March 24th, is here in town at Ed's. Actually, the 23rd. Correction, this is why Tree Dome is great.
March 23rd then.
23rd at Ed's.
At Ed's.
21 plus, and then March 24th in La Crosse at the Root Note.
So the 23rd, what type of, is it you DJing? Or
Yep,
is it...
I'll be doing a DJ set, and then after hours we'll be doing a set. So hip hop, electronic music, house music.
So dance crazy?
Yep,
like you
exactly.
encourage dancing?
We
This is not you
absolutely
pull up a
encourage
chair and
dancing.
listen. This is go nuts.
We'll be clearing the dance
Okay,
floor.
okay.
And it's free, so we're hoping
it's
to get
free.
a lot of
That's right.
Very
younger
cool.
crowd.
Very cool. And both of you were Winona State students, or were you St.
Currently.
Mary? Yeah,
Currently, Winona State student.
Just the greatest story, isn't it? That you guys come to school and
Absolutely.
you say, this is a really cool town, let's stick around and see if we can make a career out of it.
Absolutely. I love Winona, and I'm glad I was able to contribute to the community, and I'm going to be around kind of indefinitely.
We're going to hold you to that. We're going to keep you around. And hopefully the whole idea of this show, Artworks Winona, and the whole initiative that we're doing is, can we find enough work to sustain these artists and keep them going? Because the longer the artists are making work here, the more that it's helping our economy.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So thanks a lot, guys.
Of course.
Look forward to working with you many more times.
Absolutely.
And we'll be back in just a minute.
Sunshine Refuse is your locally owned and operated choice for trash removal in the Winona and surrounding communities. Owner Tony Buckland built Sunshine Refuse on service, and he and his crew put the needs of their customers first, as your satisfaction is their #1 priority, and you can see it in their work. Put a little sunshine in your day. Call Sunshine Refuse at 507-452-5107 and start your service today. You'll be happy that you did.
And we're back, and I'm really excited to have Aaron Young, the managing director of the Great River Shakespeare Festival, here to talk about this sneak peek event that's coming up to highlight the festival. How are you, Aaron?
I'm great. We're very excited because this is our 15th anniversary season. And we're going to kick it off on March 18th, Sunday afternoon, with a design expo. All weekend long, we're gathering all of our directors and designers here to Winona to work on all of the ins and outs and come up with their plans for the season. And they're going to do a public presentation then on Sunday afternoon at the Winona History Center from 1 to 3:30, and the public can come and meet them and learn more about their designs.
What I love about this design weekend is that most people don't realize how hard it is to make theater. They think it's just, add water and it's there.
Right.
And you're really pulling people from all over the country coming together, right?
This is true, yeah. We've got directors from New York and designers from California and Colorado, and they all have to. The interesting thing is that all 3 shows on the main stage have to work together because we have to interact, costume sets, props,
It's rep.
lights. Right, yeah. So,
It's one day it's this show and the next day it's the other,
yeah,
and sometimes in the
it's
same day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so everything has to work seamlessly together. And so all of the designers and the directors have to agree. And so it's a real great weekend. And they've been working having conversations online, doing group chats to kind of organize their thoughts. But this is where everything has to get worked out. We've got to put some final things in place because we have to start building.
At some point you have to actually do it,
Exactly.
right? You can't just keep talking about it. Well, you've got 3 incredibly different worlds too that these designers have to pull together, and a 4th. But let's talk about, so tell us what the season is.
Yeah, so we open with Shakespeare in Love, which is adapted from the film, and it'll be the first time that we've done the full Elizabethan garb. And so it'll be very exciting costume-wise, simple scenery-wise, but very
You're going to
intricate
blow out all the
costume-wise.
stops, right?
Yeah, we will.
This is the one, okay.
Yeah, and then we'll be doing All's Well That Ends Well, which is a show that a lot of people know the title, but they are not familiar with the show. But a great way to explore, the difficulties we have falling in love and getting somebody else to realize that they love us back.
So it's quite possible that that will not be in sort of Shakespeare's time, right? Depending on how the director...
Yeah, right now they're kind of leaning toward sometime before World War I. Because the director felt that after World War I, the world had lost some of its innocence about what the general world is about. And that some of the naivete of the story doesn't work. And so it'll be set sometime before World War I, so either caveman through World War I, pick your time. And
Still when the world could have ended well,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Obviously,
yes.
yes. Okay.
And Very true. And then our third show, which will open the last day of the first week of the festival, is A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Oh, okay.
And this will be the third time that we've done A Midsummer Night's Dream, but it's going to be a completely different retelling and involve the audience in a real exciting way.
Oh, how cool. And of course, you can't tell us now, but if you come to this event,
Exactly.
you'll see all of the exciting ideas that you guys have in store.
Yeah.
Now, there's a fourth show that will happen in the Black Box, too,
That's right,
correct?
yes. We'll be doing Venus in Fur, which is a more modern drama based on a novella that was written in the 1870s. And it's a great play by David Ives, who really loves dense language, which is what we love at the Shakespeare Festival.
And it has a very, very interesting sort of eroticism about it, right?
Yes, it does.
So you'll be tackling a sort of fairly adult theme for one of the first times in the festival, too. right?
Yes, it's one that we don't recommend that children come see. It does have a fair amount of language and some adult subject matter, but it's a real great exploration of consent and understanding what another person wants by listening to them rather than by assuming that you know what they want.
Couldn't be a more timely subject
Exactly.
at this point. A really
Very true.
interesting time to be presenting it.
Yeah.
So go ahead and tell us where that event is again and the dates.
Sure, it's March 18th at the Winona History Center on Johnson Street, and it runs from 1 p.m. until 3:30. There'll be refreshments as well.
We'll be seeing quite a lot of the company members and designers, at least, in town.
Yes.
There'll be a chance to say hello and welcome them
Oh,
back,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah, and get to know some new faces as well. So.
And you have an education program that's coming up too, right?
Yes, we start our Shakespeare in the Schools program on March 5th, and we're in 8 schools working.
Wow, 8 this year?
So our teaching artists are working with students discovering Shakespeare and making it relevant to 2018.
Do you know what play they'll be working with?
I know they're doing a lot of Romeo and Juliet, but there are a couple of other shows as well that the schools are interested in.
So depending on the school, they'll adjust the
Yes.
programming.
Yeah, it's kind of whatever play the school is studying as part of their curriculum.
Are there company members returning that are the teaching artists?
Yeah, so our teaching artists are Benjamin Buchwald,
Oh,
who played Romeo for us a couple of years ago, and then Carrie Nath, who is our new director of education, who is also an actress.
Oh, it'll be
And-
great to have her.
Yeah.
We should have her on the show.
Oh, that
It'd
would be
wonderful to meet her and talk with her.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you, Aaron.
Oh,
and
my
we'll
pleasure.
see you
March
March
18th.
at the Design Expo at the History Center. And we're back with Nicole Chamberlain-Dupree, the executive director of the Minnesota Marine Art Museum. I'm so excited to be talking about this particular program, but I just love Nicole anyway, too.
Lee,
You're
thank
a
you.
Fine Arts Commission member and such an important part of the arts community. So,
Thank you.
So Artwork Winona is thrilled to have you. So tell us about this brand new program.
So we are really excited. We have a brand new program starting March 10th, and it is called Second Saturdays, and it is the second Saturday, March through October.
What a good name then.
I know, it works. It works on so many levels. It helps you remember what day it is, all of that good stuff. It's an easy title. So Second Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And this is a really exciting program. So our goal with this program was to learn how we can get more of our community to come to the museum, right? Like, do we want activities? Do we want music? Do we want tours? What is it that we need to see more Winonans
How about a
in the
little bit of
museum?
everything?
A little bit of everything, and that's exactly what we're doing. That's exactly what we're doing. So from 10 to 5, admission will just be $1, which is super exciting.
A buck?
A buck. A buck for the entire day.
Wow.
I know, and you'll get a sticker in return that we are working on
Wow.
designing right now. It's gonna be very exciting. Yeah, so it's $1, and then we've got different themes every month. So March is Women's History Month, so our theme is Women in Art. Perfect. So for Women in Art, we have flutistry, an all women's flute group, ensemble. Ensemble,
yeah.
is that the right word? Okay, an all women's flute ensemble is going to be performing at, I I have my notes here. 11 and 3:30, and then we have an exhibition up right now of Mary Solberg's
Oh my
paintings.
gosh.
Right, they're stunning.
$1 to see Mary Solberg's paintings
Even better.
is the best deal you have ever seen.
Even better, Mary's gonna be there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Mary's coming down and she's going to do a couple demonstrations as well throughout the day, and they are at 11:30 and then 2.
How in the world can the museum afford $1 entry fee? There has to be a supporter of some
There
kind.
is. We are so fortunate. So we applied for a Minnesota State Arts Board Arts Access Grant. So we applied back in summer or fall last year. We learned we got the grant, and then we have been planning nonstop since November. So March through October is the grant this year, and we're hoping to get some really good feedback from our visitors who come, from new museum patrons, new museum individuals, new art lovers, to tell us what about this program brought them in, so that we can hopefully reapply in the future and continue to see an arts access day, but almost kind of like a Winona day at the museum.
I have to say, you know, if you haven't been to this museum, those of you that might be listening, just go. I'm serious. I'll give you the $1. Just go. These are the most beautiful paintings.
Four quarters, yeah.
I mean, to be able to see these great works of art without, you know, worry about parking, without worrying about, you know, traveling hours to see it.
Well, if we do get a mass of people there,
You
might
might
be a
have to
little
worry
bit of
about
trouble
parking. I can tell you
So
there
come early,
there
come
is
early.
plenty of parking. But and then Mary Solberg's work,
Yeah.
which is breathtaking. I mean, she is really the real deal. I think people will be collecting her art and appreciating her art for years to come.
Years to come.
It has the feeling of great sort of Renaissance painting and what is the word for it when it's sort of a holy masterwork, a sort of church-like quality,
Oh, yeah,
even though
an
they're modern,
icon.
an iconic
Yeah, it's
sort of
iconic.
feel.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll put up a picture for you of a shot or two of her
Yeah,
paintings.
so she's the lead image on our poster. So we are going to be having posters up throughout the city, starting very soon. We have to get them printed. And her image is the lead. She's the poster girl, ha ha ha, if you will. It's pretty great. Mary Solberg's work is the poster girl.
And you actually commissioned her to do a work for the museum's collection,
Yes,
correct?
we did, and that's our poster girl for the poster
Oh, my
as well.
gosh.
Yeah, so that was another grant. So we won a Southeastern Minnesota Arts Council grant in order to have a work commissioned for the museum. So when you see the posters up, if you love that image, come and see it in person. That's the one that is now in the museum's permanent collection. So whenever you come on a second Saturday or another day, if you have family in town and you need to get them out of the house, come on over, you can see this work. It's going to be there in the museum.
Washington crossing the Delaware,
crossing the
the
Delaware.
Audubon pictures.
The earliest Van Gogh painting in America.
The earliest Van Gogh in America,
Van
a
Gogh
Picasso, a Renoir, and now a Mary Solberg.
And now Mary Solberg.
Plus you have another show that's up too of a local artist, right?
do,
Can you talk a
yes.
little bit about that?
Absolutely. So we have this great exhibition up right now, Leo and Marilyn Smith Retrospective. And they are local artists. They had the studio over in Fountain City.
With a sort of folk art feel, right?
Exactly. So they consider themselves folk artists. So Leo is a sculptor, and Marilyn did the painting. And Marilyn retired a couple of years ago from painting, but Leo just can't quit working. So we have works in the collection from the 70s up through today, works that he just finished, a couple months before they went on the walls.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
there's
it's great.
actually a Princess Winona a piece that you can actually take home from the gift shop, correct?
Yeah, exactly. We've got
Just really,
sculptures.
really cool.
Yeah.
You have done amazing things since you came on. Now, how many, is this your second full year? Or?
Yep, I came in May of 2016, so I'm coming up on year 2.
And getting those grants and pulling people in and shaking up the art world here in Winona.
It's easy to do with such a great museum and such a great team within the museum, but also such a great arts team in the community, right? Like we all work together. And yes, we're the Marine Art Museum, but as they say, rising tides raise all ships. So I'm super happy to have all of these artistic individuals supporting and being ambassadors and being cheerleaders for not just the museum, but for the arts. Right?
So we'd love for you to become a member
Oh,
of the
we'd love
museum,
that.
but if not, second Saturdays,
Yeah.
show up and see it all for just $1.
Just $1. First one is March 10th, Saturday, March 10th. We'll see you there.
All right. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Nicole.
Lee. This was a blast.